I was asked to do a video comparing 3 different MAC foundations, the 3 that I use, and they are, this one's MAC Moistureblend, which you've seen in an updated foundation. In my very first foundation video, I was using the Moistureblend. This one is this MAC Studio Fix Powder, and this one is the MSF Natural, and I actually depotted it and put it in the Heatherette Compact, but it comes in like any MSFs come with a little, it's like clear top and it's like a dome, whereas the other 2 are flat. So I will start with Moistureblend. My shade at MAC is around an NC 30 in the summertime. Who knows? I can get really super dark, but I've never been lighter than an NC 25 and darker than an NC, I don't think 40 was maybe the darkest. I don't know. Here's Lucy. Say hi. Say hi, Lucy. Say hi to everybody. Say hi. They're playing in my room. So, okay, I will start with Moistureblend. This was the first foundation I've ever used from MAC. It comes in this compact, and underneath you get that little sponge applicator, which I really don't use because with the sponge applicators, unless you wash them every single day or after every single use, they can become contaminated with your, you know, if you keep applying it, the bacteria builds up on the sponge and then you're putting the bacteria right into your skin. So I don't really tend to use the sponges because they're a little bit more difficult to clean. But first I'll just tell you kind of like what kind of foundation it is. It is kind of like a cross between a liquid and a powder. Drake was just eating my beauty blender sponge. He's crazy. It's a cross between a liquid and a powder. It's more like a cream consistency. You can see it comes out like that. But it's really, really smooth and creamy, and it blends really nicely into the skin, and doesn't feel like you have a lot on, doesn't feel heavy on your face. It's just really smooth, and it gives you that like sateen finish. It almost gives you a dewy finish as well. So I very well just go out of the house with just this on, and I sometimes don't even set it with a powder if I want more of like a dewy, fresh look. So I do wear this a lot in the summertime because I don't tend to wear a lot of stuff in the summer. But the Moistureblend I wear by itself in the summertime a lot. So now I'll tell you kind of how to apply it. There's a couple different ways you can apply the Moistureblend. I use the Beauty Blender sponge, and I just dab it in there and pounce it on. Another brush you can use is any kind of flat, like the MAC 190. This is a bodyography brush. It's a basic dupe for the MAC 190. It's just a flat foundation brush. And you would just dab it on and then rub it into your skin. I find that the sponges, or you could even use those like little white disposable sponges, I find that when you wet these and apply this is the best application possible. With the flat foundation brushes, it can get a little streaky depending on how you're applying it, so you have to really like work it into your skin and blend. Another option you can use to apply the Moistureblend is the 187. The only thing with the 187 is because the bristles are so soft, it's not going to pick up a lot of product. So what you can do is kind of like not dig out, but grab a little bit with like a Q-tip or a sponge and kind of put it on your hand and then dip your brush in that, because it won't pick up too much product doing it this way. But this is, I find, a lot easier to apply foundation, and it blends a lot easier into your skin. So that is the MAC Moistureblend. It is basically, I would say, a light to medium coverage. It does give you coverage, but it's not a full coverage foundation. Like I said, it's very lightweight, doesn't feel like you have a lot on, and I really, really like it, especially in the summertime. Okay, next I'll move on to the MSF Natural. And this is just a mineralized skin finish powder. And again, just blends into the skin really nice. I use this by itself over top my tinted moisturizer, which you can see in my updated foundation routine. If you hear like rattling, it's them. They're attacking each other. So, getting back to the important stuff here. You can apply the MSF Natural, again, is a light to medium coverage. I wouldn't say it's full coverage. This is a great set powder. You could put this over top the Moistureblend. You could put this over top your liquid foundation. You could put this over top your tinted moisturizer, which is what I like to do. And it gives a really nice, smooth, matte finish to your skin. There is no shimmer in this, and it's just really, again, lightweight. I don't wear liquid foundation because I don't want to feel a heaviness on my face. So I tend to go for the more light to medium coverages, because the other thing is I was blessed with pretty decent skin, so I don't have too much skin to cover. I don't have too much to cover up. I don't need too much coverage. So that's why I tend to go for the foundations that I do. But anyway, great set powder, or a lot of times too, I can just put a primer on, like Prep and Prime, and this is good for summer too if you don't want to wear a lot. MAC Prep and Prime, put it all over your face, and then put this over top. The nice thing about that, anytime you're using a powder, you want to put some kind of liquid. I hope I'm not like screaming over top of them. Be nice. Anytime you have a powder on your skin, you have to put something kind of liquid based, whether it be a tinted moisturizer or a primer or a liquid foundation, because you want the powder to stick to something and you want it to last all day. So you could put the powder on all over, but it's not going to last you all day. And it might not cover as much. It might not cover up as much as if you put it over top another liquidy or cream foundation. So for application for the MSF Natural, originally I always used my kabuki brush, and I would just swirl it in and buff it all over my skin. Then I showed you this in the updated foundation routine. You can use the Beauty Blender. You just get it on the sponge and you pounce it in. And actually, I really like how the Beauty Blender makes it. It looks like a flawless airbrush application. So surprisingly, you can use the sponges with powder, and you can even, the same goes for the white little disposable sponges. You can use those for powder as well. You know, it's personal preference. So those are the main brushes. You could also use a big powder brush, like this one is my Essence of Beauty big fluffy brush. This brush would be good for like, you know, like a very light coverage. If you wanted more coverage in more concentrated areas, I would use a more dense brush like a kabuki or the 109. The 109 is extremely dense, flat top, and very small, so you have a ton of control over it. Because it's more dense, it's good for more full coverage. Like if you want more coverage, this will cover a lot more ground. Because it's dense, it picks up a lot more product. So if you have like redness or blotchiness or scarring in a certain area of your face, and you put the foundation or your concealer over it, this would be great to cover up that spot, and it'll give a really nice cover to it. It'll cover it up really nicely because it's so dense. But if you just want like an all-over set powder over your tinted moisturizer, this is typically what I use. I'll just put this over my skin and just kind of brush it on there. So that's the MSF Natural. You guys are crazy. And then recently, I started using the MAC Studio Fix powder because this was a mistake. My mom went to go get a refill of her Moistureblend, and they gave her the Studio Fix powder by accident. So I had never tried it, so I asked my mom if I could just have it. And I love this foundation. Again, it's one of those compacts with the sponge applicators on the bottom. The only brush I ever use to apply this is my powder brush from Essence of Beauty. You can use any powder brush. You can also use the... Jake's picking my table that my computer's on. You can use the Beauty Blender, and you can use, again, the 109 or the kabuki brush. It all just depends on how much coverage you want. If you just want an airbrushed finished look, use a big fluffy brush. If you want a more concentrated, full coverage look, use a more dense brush like the 109 or the kabuki. The nice thing about the Studio Fix powder is it's got some silica in it, and if you can just see. And so when you put it on, it gives you that like the same effect as, say, Makeup Forever HD powder or any kind of silica powder. It gives you that really nice airbrushed, flawless looking skin application. So because this has a teeny bit of silica, it does have a more satin feel and gives you more of an airbrushed, like, perfect looking skin. So this would be more medium coverage. This could be used over top Prep and Prime or any kind of primer. It could be used over a tinted moisturizer, which is what I do, or it can be used over your Moisture Blend as just a set powder. Both the Studio Fix powder and the MSF Natural I keep in my purse to kind of like just touch up throughout the day. They're great touch-up powders. So, I don't know, out of the three, I know you're all going to say, well, which one would you recommend? It all depends what kind of look you're going to achieve. You are crazy. You're crazy. He's like underneath my table wedged. In the summertime, I would tend to probably go for something more like the Moisture Blend. In the wintertime, if you need more coverage on your face, then I would recommend the MSF Natural. If you want just a flawless looking application, maybe in the summer you could use like your tinted moisturizer. You could use your tinted moisturizer by itself, or if you wanted to put some kind of set powder, I would recommend the the Studio Fix powder. The Studio Fix powder gives more coverage, I think, than the MSF Natural. It looks better. It gives better coverage, but it's a lot thinner formula, and it's a lot lighter feeling on your skin. The MSF Natural doesn't feel heavy or thick. It's just a little bit thicker of a formula, and so it just kind of all depends what you're going for, but both the MSF and the Studio Fix would be great set powders, great foundation powders, or great touch-up powders. The Moisture Blend is definitely a unique type of foundation, so, I mean, you'd have to go to the MAC counter and try it out for yourself before you get it, because it's definitely different. But if you like that creamy type dewy look for more fresh looking skin, then the Moisture Blend is an amazing moisturizer. Is an amazing foundation. The other nice thing about Moisture Blend, hence moisture, it's moisturizing. So I don't feel so bad if my skin's kind of dry. I use it when my skin's dry because it puts back that moisture in your face. Powders can tend to be drying sometimes, so you know, it just all depends what type of condition your skin is in at the time, and what type of look you're achieving. I hope that this review was helpful. If you guys have any further questions, let me know. I might get questions about the Studio Fix fluid, and honestly, I've never ever used it. Nothing against it. I just don't typically like to wear liquid foundations. I've heard, you know, complete opposite sides of the spectrum. I've heard it's a fabulous foundation, great coverage, perfect, and then I've heard it makes people break out and have cystic acne. So I really don't know. I don't know. I couldn't tell you anything about it. So there are some really great reviews on YouTube, though. So if you guys are wondering about the Studio Fix fluid, I would encourage you to just search that on YouTube, and I'm sure you can find a good review. So thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!